Welcome back to the Brick Abbey. This is going to be our review of the Lego Star Wars Boba Fett Starship build that we did. And I am going to start with the ship. I usually start with the minifigs, but I want to point something out that we did in the build that I caught after the fact. This piece here wasn't quite built right. It was a little separated. These are meant to be loose though, so that's not, these are meant to be sort of loose wings. And the reason for that is when it's flat, they're sort of supposed to be flush. You can kind of see how they're facing forward. You can kind of orient there with that piece. And then as you tilt him up, you see how they kind of tilt with him. See? And you tilt it back, and then they lay flat. So I just wanted to point that out. I did catch that I had not quite built the wings right, because I thought something was wrong with them. And then I went to film the review video, and I was like, there's something wrong with these wings. So I went back and double-checked, and I fixed them. There was a little teeny mistake that I made, but it really didn't change the build, and they are meant to be loose. So I just wanted to point that out at the beginning of this review video. So we're going to start with Mando, because obviously this is right from his show. He has a spear, he has his gun, and I love how they do the double neck hole with the capes. It gives them a really great shape on the back. Very, very good piece here. Good artwork on the chest and the legs there. Everybody loves Mando. So if you take his helmet off, there's nothing underneath, because I believe they probably made a bunch of these, and at the time of making them, he had not yet shown his face on the show. I'm going to show you Boba Fett. I'm going to take his gun out of his hand, and I'm going to show you the gun first. I actually like how they did this. It's like a normal blaster, but then you attach like the lightsaber piece right there on the front to give it a little bit more length. And we're actually going to leave him unarmed, because he's going to end up in the cockpit. So let's take a look here at Mr. Boba Fett. They went with the color scheme more from Mandalorian show. You can kind of see he doesn't really match how he looked in the Star Wars movies. There's his jetpack, and this is movable, like so. And he does have a face. See? He's a little grumpy, but good artwork all around. I really like the helmets that they do with the stormtroopers and some of the other people. So we are going to show you this next. This is not something you attach to the ship or put in the ship. It just sort of goes secondary. If you've seen Empire Strikes Back, you'll recognize it a little bit. You should recognize it a little bit as the thing that transports the carbonite. But we don't have Han Solo in here. We have one of these guys, nice and frozen. And this is mainly just so you can have a nice complete set. You know, you want to play. Some people don't put them in display cases or do YouTube channels with their Legos. They might actually play with them. So obviously the centerpiece of the build is the ship itself. And I wanted to point that out about the wings, because that's probably my least favorite part about the build. I think it's cool that they like respond to the orientation of the ship like that. I think that's kind of cool, but I would prefer them to be stiff so that I could just set them how I want. Obviously that's not a huge deal, but that is one thing about this that I would, if I was taking, I guess, points off, I would maybe take some points off for that. And that's not a huge deal. I think it's still a great build and a great ship. One of my favorite parts building it were, when we got to put the guns on down here. I like the way that they looked. I'm fairly certain that these are supposed to be guns over here on the wing. And then these are the ones that can shoot when you just push down on the thing on the outside. There we go, and they come flying out. That just is that's a regular old Lego stud that you can put in there, so you don't, obviously if you lose those, you can replace them fairly easily. And the cockpit does open, and you can put Boba Fett inside. Let's get him in there. You do have to kind of disarm him if you're going to do that. If you want to make him sit down, you can. Don't have to. And then the door closes him in. So he's inside there now. And I think the cockpit door pushed his little antenna visor thing down. And the kickstand is great for being able to... oops, I knocked a piece off. So underneath there are engine pieces. And that one just went flying. We got it. There are engine pieces that you put back here on the back. Like so. And I hit it with my finger. And that's why this kickstand piece is here. Because they don't want you to feel like you have to touch the ship if you want to fly it around and play with it. You can use that kickstand. And then if you want to lay it flat, you just push that down like so, and it'll lay nice and flat and flush on the ground. The backside does have some of the work that we did with the engine pieces, which I think is a nice touch. And then down here, just good texture with some of the different pieces and the way they have it set up. I like the variety of, you have pieces that are definitely the underside of Lego pieces, but then you have the smooth for the engine and a smooth piece there, some of the others. And then if you want to pull the kickstand or the handle out, you can see there's actually empty space next to it. You can just kind of reach in, pull up, and then it's out like that. And that, again, you can set it down with that out, and it kind of props the ship up just a little bit. But mainly, I think it's designed to be held. That was one of the first things you build in the piece. Now, my favorite thing in the entire build was just the use of geometry and color, and how you kind of built this red base, and then it kind of starts to fold up. And I think the part where I got the most excited was when we put this silver ring, and then we built this piece next and snapped it in. The ship kind of came to life out of nowhere. The red base piece is almost like a face, and then all of a sudden this center column started to form, and then we put those pieces around the outside, and I was like, oh wow, there's the ship. So this is one of the more favorite builds that I've done recently. I would easily say this is a tie with the X-Wing and the TIE Fighter as far as just an enjoyable build. Definitely one worth owning for fans of Star Wars, you know, from back when this ship first showed up. So I appreciate you guys so much for supporting the channel and these builds. Check out our other builds, our other series. Check out all the links below. And make sure you're having your subscribe button pressed and your bell button pressed. And we'll see you in the next video.